Deep within the Whispering Woods lived Pip, a tiny mouse whose most treasured possession was a small, patchwork blanket. But as the bitter cold of winter approached, Pip wondered if his personal comfort could ever truly extend to others in need. Deep within the Whispering Woods, nestled at the roots of a grand, ancient oak, lived a tiny brown mouse named Pip. Pip was a cheerful, bright-eyed little fellow, but his most prized possession wasn't a shiny acorn or a plump berry. Oh no, his treasure was a small, patchwork blanket woven from soft blue and green threads. It was no bigger than a large leaf, just enough to cover Pip from his twitching nose to his tiny tail. Every night, Pip would snuggle under his little blanket in his cozy burrow, feeling safe, warm, and perfectly content. It might have been small, but to Pip, it was the warmest, most comforting thing in the whole wide world. As the golden days of autumn slowly faded, a crisp chill began to creep into the Whispering Woods. The leaves danced from the trees in a final flurry of color, and the air grew sharper with each passing morning. Pip, wrapped snugly in his little blue and green blanket, noticed the other forest creatures feeling the cold more and more. He saw a little robin, usually so busy chirping, perched on a branch, its feathers fluffed up like a tiny, shivering ball. Further along, the usually energetic squirrel Nutkin sat hunched, tail tightly wrapped around himself. His chattering teeth making a quiet rhythm against the cold. Pip felt a little shiver of empathy run through him, despite the warmth of his own blanket. He wished he could help, but then he looked down at his precious, tiny blanket. "It's barely enough for me," he whispered to himself. "How could this little thing possibly help a bigger bird or a busy squirrel? It's far too small to make a difference to anyone else." He sighed, pulling his blanket a little tighter, convinced that his cherished possession, though wonderful for him, was simply too insignificant to be of use to anyone else in need. He felt a little pang of sadness, wishing he had something grander to offer soon. An important announcement rippled through the Whispering Woods. Old Mother Owl, with her wise, hooting voice, declared the coming of the Winter Sparkle Festival. It was a cherished tradition, a time for all the creatures to come together, share their warmth, and prepare their hearts for the deepest part of winter. Everyone was busy preparing their contributions. Mrs. Badger was gathering bundles of dried, soft leaves for extra bedding. The field mice were weaving tiny baskets to store warm stories, and the beavers were planning a feast of hardy nuts and roots. Pip wanted so much to contribute, to be part of the warmth and togetherness. But what did he have? His tiny blue and green blanket felt utterly insignificant compared to the grand offerings of his neighbors. He imagined presenting it only for it to be overlooked, perhaps even chuckled at for its smallness. A wave of loneliness washed over him, making him feel even colder than the autumn air. One particularly frosty morning, a sudden, biting cold snap swept through the woods. Pip, shivering even with his blanket, decided to venture out for a little sunshine. As he peeked from his burrow, his bright eyes caught sight of something tiny and trembling near a frozen puddle. It was a baby dormouse no bigger than Pip's own thumb, its fur thin, its little body shaking uncontrollably. Its eyes, wide with fear and cold, searched frantically, clearly lost and separated from its warm family nest. It let out the smallest, most heartbreaking whimper Pip had ever heard. Pip's heart squeezed tight in his chest. This little creature was even smaller than him and clearly in desperate need. His beloved blanket, though tiny, would be an enormous comfort to this little one. He hesitated, his favorite warm blanket, his most cherished possession. But the sight of the baby dormouse's shivering, desolate form made his decision for him. The warmth he felt inside from empathy for the baby dormouse was far greater than the warmth his blanket gave him. With a gentle pull, Pip unwrapped his precious blanket. Carefully, Pip scurried over to the tiny dormouse. With the utmost tenderness, he draped his blue and green blanket over the little shivering body. The baby dormouse, at first startled, quickly snuggled into the soft fabric, letting out a soft, contented sigh. Its shivering began to ease, and a tiny spark of comfort flickered in its wide eyes. Just then, an older dormouse, frantic with worry and calling out for her little one, appeared from behind a patch of frosty moss. It was the baby's mother. She saw Pip's small act of kindness, her eyes instantly filling with gratitude. She thanked him profusely, her small whiskers twitching with emotion. Other animals passing by, the little robin, no longer shivering as intensely, and the busy squirrel, Nutkin, witnessed this quiet, powerful moment. They saw Pip, a tiny mouse, giving his most treasured possession to an even tinier creature. They realized that Pip's gift, though physically small, held immense warmth not because of its size, but because it was given with such pure love and selflessness. It was a gift from the heart. Inspired by Pip, a ripple of generosity spread through the Whispering Woods. The robin shared a handful of extra sunflower seeds it had been saving. Nutkin offered a particularly juicy acorn. The Winter Sparkle Festival transformed into something even more beautiful, not about grand contributions, but about these small, heartfelt gestures that warmed every heart in the forest. Pip returned to his burrow, a little chilly without his blanket, but feeling a profound and wonderful warmth deep inside. He snuggled into his bed of soft moss and fallen leaves, feeling truly content. He drifted off to sleep, knowing he had made a real difference, not just to the baby dormouse but to the spirit of the entire Whispering Woods. The next morning, as a faint sunlight dappled through the oak leaves, Pip found a tiny, perfectly preserved, scarlet maple leaf resting gently at his burrow's entrance. A small, beautiful token of endless gratitude from the dormouse family, a quiet whisper that kindness always finds its way home. Reflect on Pip's journey. What small act of kindness can you share today to bring warmth to someone's heart?